In this episode on the Hybrid Coaching Podcast, this is episode 49, and we, JK and I, go in to talk about, are you the fittest or the fastest in fitness if you do CrossFit or HYROX? Also, we discuss what it's like training multiple elite athletes and how you balance equality between them. And then Anthony, I decided to show you guys the ultimate training gym that I built a few years ago in a Sketchup model. Let's make hybrid fitness work for you. This is episode 49, JK. Getting close to that number 50. Wow, I just had a question for you. How you doing today?
I am well, thank you, Anthony. That was the biggest, that was a surprise intro. I haven't seen you that excited in a while, mate.
No,
Although
yesterday.
I did actually, no, that's actually a lie. Yesterday, listeners, I screenshotted a photo of Anthony being very excited because he found something that he wanted to show me, and I should post it. I should post it, shouldn't I, Anthony? Would you care if I did?
I don't know. I was excited because I'd found a file. Actually, we'll go over it. I have it. So listeners, today we got a little bit behind and we didn't write down all of the topics we wanted to talk about. So we're going a little bit off the cuff today. And part of that is I didn't write everything down. But one of the things I did write down is I found an old 3D model on the computer that I've actually been looking for and couldn't find, but I found it. I built what I believe is the ultimate performance gym within Google Sketchup. Well, it's not Google anymore, Trimble Sketchup. And I had built this gym, 3.5 years ago in a computer 3D model. And I told JK about it, but I never showed him. And then yesterday I had found the old file, pulled it up, and I was able to show him. So if you're on the YouTube version, I'll describe, or if you're on the Spotify or Apple version of this podcast, I will describe it in great detail, a little bit about what I think goes into making the ultimate high performance gym that would be super cool if anybody wanted to make. The only problem is I also did a cost estimate on it. And in like 2023 dollars, it's like a $40 million gym.
Yeah, that's just
it's
a little
expensive.
Yeah.
If you have a barren piece of land and you want to build it though, let me know and I will get with you and we can figure out how to build this performance center that will attract everybody.
So how big is this performance center? Square feet or square?
The footprint of it is over 200,000 square feet.
Yeah. So if someone is listening right now and has a spare $40 million plus 200,000 square feet, we'd love to chat.
Need a couple acres to build it on.
Yeah.
It's even better. There is an additional outdoor portion of it that could also be added in that would just make it amazing. Not that it's not already.
You didn't tell me that. You didn't tell me that part.
Yeah, I hadn't modeled that part. I couldn't figure out how to turn the layers on and off anymore because I haven't used this program in, like I said, like 4 years. So,
right.
But we'll go over that. Another thing we want to go over today is I got a listener question. I hoped I was going to get more, but I only got one. And I wanted to ask you it, JK. And then you also text me something that I actually am excited to talk about. You said CrossFit, fittest on earth, fitness racing, fastest in fitness. And I have a little response to that for you. So we'll dive into that.
I'm excited to talk about that one.
Yeah. So before we get started today, I just want to ask you what's on your head.
I am wearing my feed hat. And trust me, this is the only hat I wear. And lucky enough, I've got 5. So they don't smell all the time because I obviously run in this hat. So thefeed.com, I am drinking my magnesium triple magnesium drink right now from the feed, from Pillar Performance. The feed guys, the Amazon supplementation website, all things sups, especially with what we're doing, endurance. So if you want to check them out, go to thefeed.com.
Yeah. And you guys, they really are great. They have so much stuff, and you can search in there. Great thing about their products is you can type in sports certified or safe for sport, and they will pop up only supplements that are sports certified and safe for sport. So just great place. Lots of things you can go get there, including what JK was talking about. So, all right, on to this first question, JK. I really want to hear
Yeah.
your thoughts on it before I ask you my leading question into what I think. So, you text me that CrossFit is the fittest on earth. So does that make fitness racing athletes the fastest in fitness?
Yeah.
Would that be like their slogan or tagline?
So I texted you this like half an hour ago when I was running. I don't know why, just thinking about it. The slogan, the title that CrossFit probably own, like they probably have copyrighted it. The CrossFit Games champion every year can claim that they are the fittest on earth. And what's that? Probably the last 15 or so years, right? Um, in my opinion, I in fact agree with it, Anthony. I'm not disagreeing with that. I think CrossFit and how they test to claim that they are the fittest on earth is in most cases pretty good. In most cases. I don't want to go into it, but I think there's a couple of types of fitnesses, sorry, but if that's the right thing to say, that they don't test. But I think overall, they can claim that they are the fittest on earth. However, in my opinion, I think the HYROX world champion should be able to claim that they are the fastest in fitness. Not in the world, because here's the thing. The 100-meter Olympic champion could state that they are the fastest in the world, but it's also to do with what we're actually testing, right? If it's the fastest in the world over X, over what distance. But I'm saying that the HYROX world champion should, in fact, be able to claim that they are the fastest in fitness because we are fitness racing. Um, if that's an industry, if that's its own kind of sport, the Hyrox World Champion can state that they are the fastest in fitness. That's pretty much um my answer, Anthony.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question then.
Yep.
Is triathlon fitness?
Yes. And I'm glad you brought that up because that's one component. Well, not component, but the thing about CrossFit that I do not see that aligns with being able to claim that they're the fittest on earth is that they don't test anything sometimes over half an hour, sometimes over an hour, but sometimes over half an hour. So technically, I do agree that, well, I'm sure this is where you're going here, right? That it depends on how you view fitness, right?
Um, Before we go into that, so I'm not gonna argue the CrossFit thing yet. Uh,
Okay.
but I want to ask you if triathlons and fitness, Lionel Sanders runs a 312 per kilometer during his half marathon of a 70.3. He's faster than you. So he's the fastest in fitness. Not,
Okay. Now, but he's not racing fitness. He's racing triathlon.
is that not fitness?
It's a race. No. I'm gonna say it's not fitness. It's a triathlon. It's its own identity. It's its own
So
category.
you're the fastest in fitness, excluding these parameters. So it's like you have a world record if I narrow it down to this
So
this age
you
group.
know how so you know how we say that the fitness racing scene now has HYROX, DecaFit. You could probably say Deadly Dozen is in that. There's a race called Paladin down here in Australia. There's probably four or five more, right? I'm talking about in fitness racing, the HYROX World Champion should claim that they are the fastest in fitness. I'm saying that Lionel Sanders, as you just said, can claim that he's the fastest in triathlon because he won Oceanside last weekend. Damn you, Anthony, you got me.
I mean, he runs. I didn't get you. I read your text to Lauren, and she got you because she asked me that.
Yeah,
So,
true. There
and
you
I
go.
expanded on it,
Yeah,
but I I don't see it like you can't say you're the fastest. You know, like the fastest human being, right, is the person basically that's running the 60 or 100 meter, like whatever their top
yeah,
speed is, if you want to talk about fast.
yeah,
But if you go over a sustained distance, right, like then we talk about different energy systems, you know? Okay, you're the fastest using the phosphocreatine, you're the fastest using glycogen, you're the fastest aerobic, you're the fastest, like, so the question is, where's that cutoff, right?
yeah,
And Hyrox has that 50-minute to 60-minute for the elites, 65 minutes for the elites, men and women. So there's your time domain. Who's the fastest within this window?
yeah, yeah. Who's
And then
yeah.
I got a question for you then. Does CrossFit make you fitter than Hyrox?
Well, that depends on what you classify as fitness, right? Kind of what you were going there, like with there. Um, I think not necessarily. I think there's elements of fitness that CrossFit don't even touch. Um, Versus there's elements of fitness that HYROX don't touch that CrossFit do, like pure strength. But then also CrossFit doesn't really touch anything um, too overly aerobic. Um, so the answer to that is it depends who you talk. It depends who's answering it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your opinion on that?
Well, I think I think CrossFit tests a very specific thing. You know, I've been in CrossFit for a very long time. I love CrossFit. I love doing CrossFit and everything. Um, here's my like argument about it. Okay. Uh, CrossFit, everybody in there claims to be like 80th percentile or better, you know, in terms of if we jump into any sport, we can do any sport at the 80th percentile. Um, and they do really well. Like if you get the top of the top, right? Like Tia is just an amazing athlete. So like if she ever does make the jump to HYROX individual, she's probably going to do very well, like probably Elite 15. And she was the pinnacle though, the absolute like one of one in CrossFit.
Yeah.
Um, you look at like the last CrossFit Games champion, James Sprague. He won the CrossFit Games, and everybody said, "Oh, that's because it was a endurance-based CrossFit." He did a HYROX in Las Vegas. He did very well. Like he did very well. He, you know, somebody who works out a lot did well in a fitness race. That makes sense. He was 20th overall for the Open Pro men or for the Pro Men, and he was first in his age group. Like
Yeah.
did a great job. Uh, but he wasn't like one of one like Tia, you know, like where I think she's gonna do a great job if she moves over. Here's the thing about like CrossFit claiming the fittest on earth. the selection between the open to the semifinals to the games, however they get there, you're narrowing down like at the games, it's only like where they do more of like these more broad fitness events. The games include the running, the swimming, like these broad fitness that would be more encompassing. But you can only get there if you can lift this much weight, if you can move and do this specific skill this many times in a row, right? You don't get to express your fitness of the games prior to the games.
Yeah.
So it's I
Yeah.
think it is great. I don't know if I'd say the fittest on earth, but one of the things that I think about, and it's a great tagline, fittest on earth. Obviously, it gets everybody to talk about it, right? Like everybody, every other fitness out there says, "Ah, that's ridiculous." They can have it, but just as a view of mine is that I think they skew heavily towards strength and weightlifting, uh,
Yeah.
heavily. Simply because, just as a very simple example, every man that qualified for the CrossFit Games uh, would have gotten the American Open weightlifting totals, which means they would have qualified for like an Olympic trials level event, you know,
Hmm.
in weightlifting. And very similarly, if they try powerlifting, they're right there at that. Like, that's a very high level of weightlifting. They're very strong,
Yeah.
right? If they went to go run, they're
Yeah.
they're not even close to the 80th percentile or like 20% of like a 5K, a 10K. The Olympic trials standard time for men was an hour and 3 minute half marathon. They're not running an hour and 3 minute half marathon. They're not even coming close to that. And that should
I
be the same level as the weightlifting if it's an Olympic trials qualifying event. I'm not even talking
right.
about like qualifying for the Olympics. I'm talking one level down,
Yeah, correct.
right?
Yeah.
Like they're to qualify to go to the qualifier.
Yeah.
Um, they're making it in weightlifting and in strength and in most powerlifting things. They're not making it in running and endurance aerobic stuff.
Endurance. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's funny because Georgie strongly believes she's got a strong opinion that triathletes and Ironmen, especially, are the fittest on earth. She hates how CrossFit claims that they are the fittest on earth, even though that she loves CrossFit herself right now. She's absolutely obsessed with it at the
It's
moment.
it's
But,
so fun.
but
Like you're always learning a new skill. Weightlifting is a ton
yep,
of fun if you haven't done it, like the resistance training. I love CrossFit. I love doing all the different things. It's fun to like practice those skills. Gymnastics is awesome. And that's another thing, by the way. CrossFit has like gymnastics is
yeah,
levels. There's like level
yeah,
1
the
to 10,
skill.
right?
Yeah,
The skill level for it, you would think would have to stop at like a 7 to be considered above average. And their skill levels that they're doing are like levels 8, 9, 10 for
yeah.
in some cases.
Just to wrap this up, my response to Georgie is always, well, it depends on your definition of fitness. And the only definite, no, sorry, this isn't probably true, but the definition that I know is the CrossFit definition, right? And I think most people do understand that CrossFit actually came up with that, or Greg Glassman did. So, of course, they're going to be subjectively biased towards them being the fittest on earth, right?
Well, he
If
has
there
yeah,
was, yeah, like, do you agree with that?
he has the definition. He defined fitness in terms of like what it was, but that's also the methodology of CrossFit. The methodology
Yes,
is
correct.
sound and great. It's not the
Yeah,
same thing as the sport.
no,
Um,
no, correct.
and so I mean you have that aspect too, but another thing is it may just curious. We're in HYROX, we're not close to these Olympic trials qualifications, right? Like you're
No
not
way.
running a 103 half marathon.
No, no,
But
no, no.
I bet you if we tested you, you'd be just as far away from the half marathon as you would be from the Olympic total.
Yeah.
So you would be a level athlete.
Ah. Interesting.
instead of being like they claim not to be specialized, that you have to be in order to do some of the things in CrossFit.
What do you think the top CrossFit athlete in the world could do a half marathon in? Roughly, roughly.
Somebody currently, so not somebody that like retires from CrossFit and spends 3 years working on it,
No,
like
no, no,
somebody
currently
currently
right now.
in CrossFit trying to do a half marathon on the men or women's side.
Men, yeah.
Uh, Here on the men's side.
Sorry to answer it, I can't see any male running less than 4 minutes per kilometer for a half marathon. I'm gonna say like the top male athlete would probably do a 124 or thereabouts.
Yeah, maybe a 120.
Maybe.
Like that's like 6 minutes per mile, like a little bit slower than 6 minutes per mile for 13.1 miles. So maybe that, like if you're talking, but that's again, we're talking a half marathon and a long time. And usually they're bigger framed in order to have to support the weightlifting that they do, you know.
Yeah.
So they're not that like that's a lot of weight to carry the whole time.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
so some of those guys, like it'd be tough. I mean, even if you consider it the 5K though, like what are the top 5K guys? Like 13 minutes or something? Like,
In the world, yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So what is the Olympic qualifying times for 5K? Um, so you're talking the Olympic qualifying time. Okay. Sorry, I meant to say Olympic trials, not the Olympic qualifying time.
I'm gonna say it's 13 low.
The A standard is a 1325,
Wow.
which is the minimum standard is a 1338. So just and for women it's a 1452. So just to qualify for the trials, they would have to do that, which means if you go back and look at their 4,500 meter 5K that they claimed to do a couple years ago,
Mhm.
right? Um, Even taking the best times from there, I think the best time was like 18 minutes or like 18 flat or something. It's right
Mm.
there. They're still almost 5 minutes slower, which in this is what, almost 25%.
Yeah.
So maybe 30%.
Mm.
Yeah, a little bit less than 30%. So I don't know. That is even an event that favors them more, they'd be not not the
Yeah.
fastest.
Yeah.
Which I mean that gives us an
13.
opportunity to do this, right? Like 18 minutes as the fastest 5K that wasn't a 5K.
Yeah.
Um, Times what is it? 4.2 5Ks is an hour and 15 minutes. They'd be over 12 minutes off of the standard for the half marathon.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's if they sustain that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Your listeners would love to hear your answer or your opinion on who can claim that they're the fittest on earth or the fastest in fitness. Is it
Yeah.
triathletes? Is it HYROX athletes? Is it CrossFitters?
Yeah. I'm
What do you
curious
think?
what everybody thinks. And if so, who do you think has it? Who do you think is the fittest
Yeah.
between all those? And is it fittest or fastest or how do you define it? All right. So I'm glad you messaged me that. Like I said, I didn't write everything down that we did. So I'm going to ask you our listener question that I got. And this is a question that came into me through a DM. And I wanted to ask, I'm not going to name the person, but I wanted to ask you, JK, because it was very interesting to me. And then I did go listen. If you didn't listen to Lauren on Race Brain uh, earlier this week, she was asked a very similar question to this. It looks like JK froze, so I don't know if that's. going to be on the video version of this or
I
not,
can
but
I
there he
can
is.
still hear.
Okay. So here's the question, JK. Uh, this may be
Yep.
more of a question for JK and Lauren, as both are coaches, but Anthony too, since you coach multiple Elite 15 athletes. Would you be able to coach someone you are racing against fairly? This person is your competition, and you would know their strategy, assuming you with discuss them with, oh, there's a typo there, them with them as a coach. How do you or would you handle this situation? For Anthony, how do you deal with multiple athletes in the same race? Would they not be frustrated with racing someone who may know their tactics?
Yeah, great question. And if you haven't listened to the Race Brain podcast that Lauren was on this week, I highly recommend
Best
checking that
episode they've
out.
ever done.
Best episode apart from mine that they've ever done.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry, JK.
Yeah. No, it was great. I loved it. I got some insight into Lauren even more, like which was fantastic. And she actually goes over this question very precisely.
Yeah. And
Um,
if you're like me and you can't get enough of Lauren, you could also listen to her on Hybrid Sport Media, two in the same
she was
week.
on Hybrid Sports Media, yeah, with
Uh,
my sister as
okay.
well. So she was,
So
yeah.
JK, back, I'm going to dilute the question here. They asked, would you be able to coach someone you are racing against fairly? Would you fairly be able to coach someone you are racing against?
The answer is yes. Um, in my opinion, and for me personally, I would not coach a lot of people that I would be racing against in the first place. I think that's a kind of segue into if I was coaching anyone that I was racing against, it would be that person or that athlete or athletes would be chosen wisely due to the fact that um, I see value in them as one, a person, two, an athlete, and I see that we as a collective and as a coach and a athlete relationship, we could progress together. I would not coach someone who I can't see us clicking, right? So going back to the question, I could see myself doing this and doing this properly to enhance that athlete because I would be in their corner um, as much as I can to progress them. Um, you know, I don't coach any Elite 15 males that I race against. I do coach a couple of aspiring Elite 15 males. Um, and if I'm a true coach and true to my values as a person and a coach and respect that role that I have got professionally, then I am not thinking about myself when I'm programming for them or thinking about race tactics for them. It's solely to do with them and getting the most out of their race. Um, it would be I'll be totally transparent and honest though. It would be very interesting for me to coach a male athlete who I am racing against, let's just say in a major. It'd be very interesting and that's something that potentially might happen in the future. And you know, I'm happy to work through that. But to answer it, I would gravitate to it because I want to make sure that I could potentially divide my myself as an athlete trying to be the best HYROX athlete in the world and be the best coach in the world and I want to be both. I want to be known as both. And I think I'd be able to do that. Not saying that it would be easy, but I think I'd be able to do that. I think, you know, the answer to that is obviously more so for someone like yourself, Anthony, who do coach a number of athletes that are racing against each other, head to head, and then obviously Lauren as well. How do you go about it?
Uh, So multiple things. I think it would be insulting to the athletes if you ever like, oh, you can't beat this person. So I think one of the big beliefs is like you need them to believe that they can, maybe they're like they need to be able to believe that they can win any race that they're in, right? So you prepare
Yeah.
them for winning. What is your best way to do this? Um, and so you prepare them that way, and it's really whoever goes out there and executes the best is the one that wins, right? So,
Mm.
um, but you care for each athlete, like as the athlete, like JK, you and Bo, and maybe we get a third male in there into the Elite 15, and we have three like men are going to race each other. And it's not about, first off, well, I should preface with this. Anybody that I coach, I don't talk about their stuff with any of the other athletes I coach, right?
Yeah.
So there's no like, oh, well, this person's doing this, so you should do this because if you want to beat them, like they're not adversarial to each other ever.
Yeah.
The number one thing is like, uh, I believe in like the camaraderie. I love seeing the camaraderie and the teamwork and like how they got together and did a relay. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's so cool that like they just care about each other. And I think it was Lauren Griffith who said, when you're not having a great day, but you see one of your teammates go by you and they're having a great day, you're like, yeah, good
Yeah.
job, go for them. Like even in the middle of the race, you're happy for it. If you go back and watch, I've watched the races multiple times, but go right back and watch Amsterdam. Lauren's on the rower and she sees Kate come in and she goes, yeah, Kate. Like you're happy for your teammates. So it's a great thing to be able to see them handle that with each other. And that makes me happy. Like, because I'm not, as much as I would love to say we're going to have every single athlete has their amazing best day and we fill top six overall, like boom, 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 boom. Uh, it's probably not going to happen. Somebody's not going to have their best day and they're going to fall lower than they expect or something, or it's going to be tough, or like what happened last year at Worlds. Lauren Griffith got hurt and fell down to 13th, like with her calf. Um,
Mm.
that that can happen. And so you just have to um, have some empathy, be out there and be a coach for them. You
Yeah.
know, uh, how do I deal with multiple athletes in the same race? I root for all of them and tell them what they're doing as they're going by. So kind of one of the ways that I do my coaching and try to figure it out is I watch these races over and over and over again. So many times that yeah, I'm probably giving HYROX more views on their videos, skewing the results. I might be the highest city just because of the amount of times I watch it. The but I watch these races and I look at each athlete, not just my athletes. I'll look at everybody on the start line and I'll follow them through the whole race. Like every time like sometimes I'll walk through and I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna follow this person. I know they come in like seventh place or 12th place in this race. Like, what's their path through this entire thing? Like, you can't see it all the time, but I'm able to follow them and see what they do. And then I try to think to myself, how would this person improve? And I try to put myself in like, if I was coaching this person, what would I do? Okay. So if I think that's how that person's going to improve, now I go to my athlete and I'm like, this is probably how they're going to be better next time. So
Mm.
we're going to make you as best as we can. And this is the places where you can make up the most ground or you can get the most out of each station or something to get the edge this time.
Yeah. And I
So
think what you're saying is there, like, if you're training or programming or talking to one of your athletes, none of the other athletes are in your head about you're not thinking about, okay, like I want to make sure that this athlete is prepared to beat this one, or it's just solely to do with getting that athlete prepared and better.
yeah, no, it's that athlete. And I should add to that, like, because they asked at the bottom of this question, would they not be frustrated racing someone who may know their tactics? I don't, I
They don't, yeah.
when we talk, right? Like JK knows this. when we talk and we're talking about like if we're talking about other racers in the race, most of the time we're talking about your own ability and what you can do and how to race. But I pretend with you, Bo doesn't exist in the race, right?
Yeah,
And on the women's
yeah,
side, we do the same thing. None of the other women I coach exist in the race for them. So
yeah,
it's there's no like conflict that way. They don't know what the other women that I'm coaching are going to do, and the other women don't know what they're going to do. So um, yeah, there's no conflict in tactics or changing that.
yeah, exactly.
So I thought that was an interesting question. If you want to hear Lauren's answer, you can go watch the Race Brain episode and hear
Yeah.
it. Um, all right. So the last one I have on here, is there anything else you want to talk about before I get into showing off this performance gym and how would you improve it?
No, I'm excited to hear about it again because I'm sure I'm not the only one, Anthony, and the listeners, you probably have dreamt about the best performance gym or the best gym that you could train at for your races and whatnot. And what Anthony is about to show or talk about is pretty cool. It's
Cool.
pretty cool.
So if you are on YouTube, you will be able to watch and see this. I'll share my screen. And if you're not on YouTube, you if you're on Spotify, there should be a video thing on Spotify. If you're out on the run, I'm going to try to give you as much detail as possible. What I'm interested in is I did this a few years ago. HYROX wasn't as big. What would you change? And what would you uh, add or take away from this? So
Yeah,
I'm very curious. Remember, this is a 3.5 year old drawing, okay? So to start
3D
with,
model.
boom, boom. So I took away the layers. This is an enclosed building. This is a concrete tilt-up building, if you know what that is. It has very high ceilings. I think they're like 20 feet in this main area, or maybe more. But what we'll do is we'll start with it's got this wonderful underground parking garage right here for people who work here. And there would be a parking area out front as well, but this is like the specialty parking garage. Um, we walk in, this would be your front entrance right here. It's got these nice glass windows. Uh, it's got a, it's not, like I said, this is a hidden layer and I don't have it seen here, but there would be like a smoothie bar and a nice, like healthy restaurant in this area, as well as like front desk registration, all that kind of stuff. And I believe I don't remember where I put the locker rooms, but they are there as well. Um, okay, so you go in, you'd go through, and you'd enter the gym.
The
This is
track.
a track. So if you can't see it, this is a 400-meter track, indoor track. Okay. It's around right now what is a turf area. And what's great is that would now be the HYROX turf instead of just regular green turf like I have it here. And this is an Olympic-sized swimming pool and diving area. Cool, huh?
That's it.
Um,
Is that a 50-meter pool?
yes, 50-meter pool. Over here, this is the functional fitness area. So you can think of it like a CrossFit zone with access to a track. So you ever want to do all your CrossFit workouts with a track around it? Boom. Here's this functional fitness area with weightlifting platforms, rowers, bikes, like anything you'd want, and open space as well. And it would be a wall here as well. Um, like any fun gym, you could play a game of pickup basketball. It's got two basketball courts over here. Those are full-size basketball courts. Um, Sorry, it's running slow, so we'll get to it. But you could go up the stairs over here, and on this side, down this line where my mouse is at, those are racquetball and squash courts and uh,
Pickleball.
pickleball. Yeah, you can play pickleball either on the basketball courts. I would put the lines, or that might be outdoor as well. But there was pickleball. All right, so it's not loading very well right now, so I can verbally describe it. Down here is the athletic training room where we talked about it will have a lab, and so you can test your lactate threshold, you can do VO2 max and everything. So that'll be over here. These, this area up here, this upper side on this one is actually offices. So it's like office buildings, podcast recording studios, video recording studio up here, and it's got a glass window that you can just look out the whole thing. So this is office space up on this one. And the Olympic size swimming pool, so you could hold like Olympic classes and things on the pool and put up grandstands or something. Okay, hey, it's moving, so maybe we might get to zoom in on some of this again. Uh, there we go. So this would be the offices looking over the whole fields and everything. This is an elevator and a stairwell that goes from the parking garage below up into the offices or into this first area right there. You'd funnel in over here. There is additionally the locker rooms in this section right here, while the restaurant's over there. And yeah, I don't remember there was more to it, but I'm glad it's spinning now for me. Uh,
I think I think there's one thing you're missing out on. Yeah,
what-
I've been trying to work out, like, whilst you've been explaining, is there anything you're missing out on? Wow, that looks cool.
yeah,
Um, Now the only thing is, where is Lily's kids' gym?
this is Lily's playground, man.
This is Lily's playground.
Yeah,
So it's all Lily's playground.
it's all Lily's playground.
She's going to
I don't
be
have all the
running
equipment in here. I
fast
just
around
have
that
sample
track.
pieces. Yeah, dude, she would just run around the track. That's all that would happen. She would just be continually running. Um, yeah, but you can see. So if there is
That's
anybody out there that wants to make this amazing gym a reality, and then we could interview anybody that wants to be the PT in the office. Look at that. I've set up this office way better than anywhere else in the gym. Oh,
yeah, that's
it's got a cold
look at
tub
the
right there
detail
too.
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's been a while since I created this, and there's actually a lot more to it. The reason it's running slow is there's a lot more to it. I've hidden a bunch of things on this drawing, and I cannot remember how to unhide. I've tried doing that, and I can't find the buttons because I haven't gone through this very much. But I was very excited to find it.
I think it's very common. I think the listeners would understand this. If you travel for a HYROX race or just travel in general for work or holiday, how often do you have to Google um, a gym or a health center and work out if they have a sled or they have treadmills or they have this and they have that?
And a
Um,
place to do it.
and yeah, place to do it, like it's a very common thing that I have to do, that Georgie and I have to do, like, all the time. Um, and I know this um, ultimate training facility is probably, or would be, one of the best HYROX facilities in the world. But it's amazing how much I personally have to do my due diligence and my research on um, you know, where to train when we're traveling.
Yeah. So also the idea is depending on how much land this was built on. So like I told you, it's like 30, what was it, like 38 million, I said. This whole building cost out would be something around that. Back in 2022 or 2023 when I actually did the prices on it. Uh, I had said this was a giant window wall right here. And it like looked out because at the time we were in Salt Lake, I was like, yeah, and it looks out and you see the mountains.
Oh,
And
cool.
then
Yeah.
outside of it though would also be an outdoor track and like outdoor training if there was enough room for that.
That would
Um,
be scary.
So anyway, that's this is the ultimate training facility. JK, I got a question. If this facility existed, and I would definitely be updating this more right now to include a few more things, would you move there and train there?
I would 100% move there and train there and work there and probably live there and all
Put
of the
some
rest of
apartment buildings up in the offices here.
it. Absolutely, mate. There would be nothing else that we need. There'd be nothing else. So maybe we need one in Australia and on the Sunshine Coast here and Vegas.
Yeah. Our ultimate training facility.
That's it. That's it.
Cool. All right. Well, JK, do you have anything else you want to go over today? Do you have another topic? Those were the only three I got
Um,
down before we started. So,
no, I don't think so. I think we've covered quite a bit. I enjoyed this one, and for those who are listening, there's a few HYROX races this weekend. I think there's the Cologne race. Is that correct, Anthony?
yeah, I can look at my board here. What do we got? We got Cologne, Warsaw, and another one that is being blocked from my view right now.
So there's a few races this weekend, and then next weekend is another big event, big racing weekend with not only Paris and Miami, but there's a Deca Fit. Is that correct,
Shara. So
Anthony?
Shara is Dubai. So that's this weekend as well. Yes.
Uh-huh.
So the next weekend there will be Paris and Miami going on, which are both Elite 15 doubles. Oh, there's another High Rocks too this weekend, Taipei.
Taipei. There you
Yeah.
go.
Uh,
Yep.
so and then the following weekend we'll have Paris and Miami, which is both Elite 15 doubles qualifications, as well as DecaFit SoCal.
Perfect. I'm excited. It's ramping up because after that is Barcelona, last chance qualifier.
That's true. And the weekend, and the weekend after that is the last Elite 15 doubles in London.
Yeah. So it's uh it's getting to the crunchy end of the season.
It is. All right, JK, is there anyone else you want to shout out?
No, Anthony, thank you for listening. Listeners, if you ever want to message or ask anything or anything whatsoever, message me on Instagram, jk.jameskelly.
Yep. And you can find me at the Hybrid Engine or a Wild Parasini, also on Instagram. You can also find my wife, Lauren Weeks, on YouTube. It's a great channel. Go check it out. And be happy to see you guys there. As well as if you have any questions at all, guys, or you have any topics you want us to cover, please, we'd be happy to read it out loud and send it and go over something like that on the next episode.
Thanks, guys.
Have a great day. Thank you for listening to the Hybrid Coaching Podcast. If you'd like to get in contact with James Kelly to seek out some coaching or for general questions and inquiries, please go to Instagram and find him at jk.jameskelly. Or you can find him and Georgie Vesley on YouTube at James Kelly and Georgie Vesley. If you'd like to contact Anthony or seek out programming or coaching questions from the Hybrid Engine, please go to Instagram at the Hybrid Engine or at a Wild Parasini. Thank you again. Have a great day.